With us now, Mark Schmitz, father of Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz, who died on this day in Afghanistan last year. Mark, we appreciate you being with us. I know it's a tough day. A year later, has America learned the lessons that were needed to be learned so that your son didn't die in vain?
Did they learn the lesson? I firmly believe that the American people are behind our military, Marines. What they're not behind is most of our government, who have still not been held accountable. And there's a lot of people that are very upset about that, including myself.
When you say held accountable specifically, what do you think was done wrong, and what needs to change?
Well, we are just now recently finding out from one of the snipers that was there in the towers right above where my son was at, that they had a lock on the suspected terrorist, and due to our rules of engagement, they put a request in for a kill shot and were denied. They were told to stand down. I'd like to know why. I'd like to know who made that call, how many people were involved in that, because what he explained was the reason why they were told to stand down is because they were concerned about collateral damage. Well, I'm no rifle expert, but you have a through and through on a sniper shot. It might take out somebody behind them and maybe an additional person behind them. That's pretty minimal. Not that you want to see anybody else die, but considering the alternative, which was over 200 people being affected by the bomber that could have been taken out and this whole thing been prevented, yeah, I'm a little ticked off. And I'd like to get some answers on who made those calls.
Do you feel like there's a desire by the military to answer the hard questions about why the withdrawal from Afghanistan was such a disaster, why the rules of engagement were what they were, why your son was out in the crowd at Abbey Gate rather than better protected? Is there any desire to answer those hard questions, or a year later have they successfully swept it under the rug?
I think internally, a lot of the military probably second guess a lot of things now. The problem is they were all forced into a situation that was essentially unattainable, an impossible task that they were all put through. And that goes all the way up within the military too. I mean, these guys were having to make split-second decisions in an incredibly crazy situation. And
yeah, you know, we now know that there was a lot of members of the military, high-ranking generals, both on the ground and at the Pentagon, who told President Biden this isn't the way to do it, and they were ordered against their better judgment to do it. Your son's death is a result of that. Freedom 13 is the charity you've started to honor his memory. Tell me what you're doing and why this is what you want Jared's legacy to be.
Well, my background is all surrounded around housing. I'm a real estate photographer and drone pilot, and my wife owns her own insurance agency dealing with homes. So we were well connected within the real estate community. And we looked at all the other organizations that are out there doing wonderful things for the veterans, you know, service dogs, et cetera. We just figured we'd stay close to what we're familiar with. And so what we're doing through the Freedom 13 is building recreational retreat centers across the country, starting here in our home state of Missouri. Each one will have a different theme behind it. Like the one we're going to be working on here will be on riverfront property, so it'll be a kayaking fishing experience for veterans. Similar to an Airbnb, they'll go in online and select a house they want to stay in, look for available week that they can use. They go in and prove they're a veteran, and once they've done that, they owe us absolutely nothing. So they stay a week at a time. They can bring their families along.
Wow.
So it's a great camaraderie builder between veterans. You know, hopefully we'll get a bunch of different guys from different branches of service, different time periods. And the ultimate end goal is to strengthen the brotherhood and sisterhood. And hopefully some of these guys who might be struggling with some PTSD or just reacclimating into civilian life can lean on the other veterans that have already made that transition, and maybe they can help them out. I think it's a great, wonderful therapy opportunity for them.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm thinking also about Jared's memory at the race in Daytona this weekend. A NASCAR wrapped with Freedom 13 with Jared on it. We got pictures of the car here. Was he a NASCAR fan? Is this something that is near and dear to his heart that we can all think about?
To be 100% honest, no. He was not into NASCAR at all. But I think NASCAR is probably one of the most patriotic sports that's out there, and they've embraced it, and therefore we've embraced them. I mean, they've been absolutely stellar. They have gone above and beyond. I mean, we've been to Charlotte for the Charlotte 600, and the car that was in honor of Jared at that race ironically won the race, Denny Hamlin with FedEx. So I mean, it's a sport I was never into much either. I played soccer my whole life. Wow. And now we follow it like crazy. So,
Mark, I got to end on this. I know for America, August 26th should be a moment to all pause and remember your son's sacrifice and remember sort of how we got to that point in Afghanistan and what an awful day that was. For you, every day is August 26th. I know that, and I realize that. And I just want to say that we're with you, and we really appreciate your time. And boy, what a wonderful, wonderful legacy for your son that you're carrying on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.